Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be bringing guys another Washington Commanders cap space update. I'll be breaking down almost every contract that the Washington Commanders have signed this offseason, and we'll be going over Washington's total cap space and what they could possibly do with that remaining cap space. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. Please help me get to 7,500 subscribers. Also hit that like button and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. And also please go ahead and follow my Twitter, trying to get to 1,000 followers on there. Now let's get right into the video. Okay, so I did a video similar to this a couple weeks ago, but we've had some new signings, so I want to update you guys on our cap space. And we'll start off with the newer contract. So I believe a week or two ago, the Washington Commanders signed defensive end F.A. Obata, and the deal is pretty reasonable. It's a base salary of about $1 million, $152,000 in a prorated bonus, and a guaranteed salary of $200,000, and the cap hit is right above $1 million. So that's a really good deal for a backup edge rusher. He's probably our best backup, on the defensive line, besides maybe James Smith-Williams, who, can play both positions. But so far in his career, F.A. Obata has had better production than James Smith-Williams, about 9 sacks in the last couple years. So I think this is a really good deal because, he's had decent production the last couple years and has familiarity with Ron Rivera, so he can come in there and work hard. And I think that contract is solid. It's a very, very low risk signing. You're, paying him $1 million and, possibly a somewhat high reward with a backup, edge rusher, which is a position we desperately need. We don't have a good backup. We still might need to sign or draft someone to help us out there, but I think that is a solid deal for the Washington Commanders. The next deal that we made in the last week or so is the Cornelius Lucas deal. It was originally like a 2-year, $8.2 million deal, but of course, I always say in my videos when I'm doing it right then when the contract comes out, this will look very different in a couple of days, and of course it does, because the agents put out the best version of the contract. Later when the details come out, it doesn't look as good. So it was a 2-year, $6.5 million deal, about $3 million in guaranteed money, $1.8 million signing bonus, and you guys can see some of the rest here, the more specific. So I think this is a very, very good deal for one of the best backups in the league. And you look at this right here, it's about a $2.67 million cap hit. I think, again, a very good deal because you're paying him about $3 million a year. You can obviously easily get out of the deal after this season if Cornelius Lucas doesn't look good or he finds someone better than him. But again, another cheap signing where it's a very valuable position, to have locked down, backup tackle, and he also is a swing tackle for us, or another big body if we need, if it's an obvious running situation. This is a very good deal for the Washington Commanders, and they still might need some more depth on the offensive line, but maybe another guy that can kind of play guard and tackle, someone like Darrell Williams from the Buffalo Bills. But Cornelius Lucas is a very good backup and probably could have started on some teams, not like right away, but went in there and competed for a starting job. So I think this is a very good deal for the Washington Commanders. So now right here, this is the Andrew Norwell deal. Most people know it, but it's a very friendly deal again. In 2022, it's a $2.78 million cap hit and a $5 million cap hit in 2023. So we went from paying Eric Flowers about $10 million this year for a cap hit, and to Andrew Norwell at 2.78% or $2.78 million. So in my opinion, that is a good move because they're very similar in terms of the type of player they are. I think last year, if you look at what Eric Flowers did here and what Andrew Norwell did in Jacksonville, Eric Flowers was a little bit of a better player, but I think Andrew Norwell coming to this situation with a better offensive line around him, a better team in general, a system he's familiar with, and coaches, especially John Matsko, that he's worked with before, who gets the best out of his players, I think he will be better than what Eric Flowers was last year. And if Eric Flowers does start this year for another team, I think Andrew Norwell will be better than him, and you get him for a fourth of the price, a fourth of the cap hit, and he's a little bit older, but still, that in my opinion is the best out of these three deals. Very, very cheap, and it's another low risk, possibly high reward. Like, if they really want to get out of it after this year, they can, but I just don't see them doing that, and he's going to be a starting left guard for us for about $3 million this year in terms of the cap hit. Next year, it'll be a little bit more, but again, you have to think the cap goes up every year, so it won't be that bad. And $5 million anyways isn't bad at all. You guys can see $3.5 million signing bonus, $5.7 million in total guarantees. So overall, a good deal for the Washington Commanders, and we went over all these deals right here that are on the screen in my past video, but I'll just do it real quick for you guys. So J.D. McKissic, again, it was a 2-year, I believe around $7 million deal, and it's a $1.91 million cap hit in 2022 and a $3.5 million cap hit in 2023. Cam Sims, about 1 year, $3 million deal. It is a cap hit of $2.5 million. So that's the only bad thing about a 1-year deal. It's harder to get down that cap hit, which is really the number that matters the most, at least for this year, is the cap hit. And then Bobby McCann, about a $3 million cap hit. So all of these deals were reasonable. And again, that's why you have to kind of wait after the first day to really see what the cap hits are, what the guarantees are, because again, the agent is putting out these deals to make it look as best as it can, so it looks like he or she did a very good job. Okay, so now let's look over Washington's total cap space and some things that they could possibly do with that cap space and how much of it will need to go to rookies. So Washington currently, the Commanders, are at about $10.7 million in cap space. So they still have cap space to work with. And not only do they have $10.6 or $10.7 million in cap space, but after June 1st, they'll get about $12 million in cap space with the release of Landon Collins, because they did do a post-June 1st cut for Landon Collins. So he can still sign with another team, but we will get those cap benefits after June 1st. So it saves us a lot of money. We just have to wait till then. So maybe we'll extend Terry or Daron Payne with that money in the after June 1st, and we'll still there's always that wave after the draft, and there's still some players available in June, so that could be another time where we sign some mid-tier free agents for a couple $1 million a year once we have some more cap space. And the draft, so we have 10.7 for about $4.5 million goes into the draft for us this year. That could change if we trade back and we get some more picks, or we get a couple more first round picks. If we trade back and get like 2 first round picks, I saw someone on Twitter propose like Washington trades with the Chiefs for, we trade pick 11 for 29 and 30. That could change up a little bit what our cap situation looks like in terms of how much money we have to spend, but it's about $4.5 million. So you subtract that from 10.6 or 10.7, and that's kind of what we're going to have to be working with, around $6 million before June 1st. And again, after June 1st, we're going to have a ton of cap to play with, and I don't think they're going to spend all of it, because you need some of it in the regular season, and obviously they're probably going to want to save some to roll over for next year, because it does give them a little bit more of cap space. But with this cap space, they're still able to sign a decent amount of players. Like, they still have to fill out their roster in terms of like those back end of the roster guys, kind of those like minimum players, because they have 69 total players right now. You add about 6 with the draft, which puts you at 75, and then a couple undrafted free agents puts you at 77. I believe they're going to be at like 90. So they're going to still have to sign some guys, and I do think that if you sign guys for like a multi-year deal, the cap hit in year 1 is usually lower than the year 2 and year 3 cap hit, and so on. So they still have enough cap space to sign a solid veteran linebacker, someone like Alexander Johnson. They can go out and get a low tier receiver, a veteran receiver if they want, an offensive lineman, definitely someone like on the D line like Star Lutulelli or Akeem Hicks. They can get those guys, especially Lutulelli, for relatively cheap. Akeem Hicks might be a little bit more, but they have cap space to get some of these veteran guys that aren't going to cost as much. Someone like Tyrann Mathieu probably wouldn't be able to come here just because of our cap space. We would have to probably restructure some things, maybe restructure a little bit of Carson Wentz's deal, move some of those guarantees to next year. But again, you're creating cap space for this year, but you're pushing some of it back for next year. So if you cut them next year, there's going to be a cap hit if you do push some of that money back. So those are kind of that's what Washington is working with right now. So let me know what you guys think about Washington's cap space situation and what you think they should do with it. Should they save it, or what guys in free agency should they go after, and should they wait till after the draft to sign some of the remaining guys? So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. Please help me get to 7.5 thousand subscribers, and let me know any videos you guys want to see in the next couple of weeks or few weeks until the draft. Peace, guys.